Hey, so you probably found this video because you are looking to make some nice colored glass inside Blender, but you mainly want to focus on Eevee because you just don't have time for Cycles to render out a full video sequence. And I have done this effect a couple of times for my videos. It does work. It's cheating a little bit, but we do get that nice colored transparency, nice colored caustics as well. So today I just want to go through my process of setting up a glass texture, a transparency texture, as well as getting those colored caustics. So let's get into it. Alright, so I've just got a bit of a project file for this one just to demonstrate, like you can see it working in Eevee. We are in that rendered mode and you get some nice features, like you can see the different colored glass come through. So we're going to start with making that material. So I'm just going to come up here, click and open up this gray box. So it's just one of these panels that I've duplicated, but we're going to focus on the material. So I'm in the shading tab here, so this gives me access to the node shader editor. Going to select it and we're going to call this one glass, and I'll probably start with just giving it a nice cyan so we've got a different color, but this is a flat block. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set the transmission to 1. So this is how we see through it. It's still solid, so what we need to do is come down to settings, go to blend mode. We're going to select alpha hash for each one, and that should give us some transparency as they start activating. We can control the alpha so we can let some of the light through. We're going to control that a different way, so we'll just leave that solid. But there's a few other things we want to turn on. So this ray trace reflections, we're going to check that one on. So now we can start seeing through the object. As you can see, it's a bit frosted, so we can use the roughness here to like bring that down so we've got more of that transparently look. I can do a bit of glass morphism stuff and make it look trendy. IOR, if you want a specific type of glass, you can plot that one in. But there are a few other things that we need to turn on to get this effect going. I've sort of left it on because I wanted to show the demo at the start. But if you come up to the render tab, scroll down to screen space reflections, turn that one on, and you want to turn on refractions as well. And that's going to give you that nice see-through material. But as you can see, we've still got a black shadow. So this is the tricky thing. You probably notice up here how I've achieved it, but I've got some area lights to help with just filling in the shadow. Because the light in Eevee is additive, it's going to fill in the ambient color, which you can find under the world properties. So you can still edit that. You can change it up. You're going to get that world light, but this is just applying a light over the top. So if we go Shift A and we're going to select a light, we're going to pick the area light. You can see it glowing over there, but we need to just move it in front of this panel. So I'm just going to use these operators to get it in place, make sure it's the right scale. Actually, I'll make sure it's snapped so it's nice and neat. So holding control, you can snap the scale. We can scale that up and get a nice shadow. So we just need to move it in front. Somewhere about there. You can see how that light is filling in the darkness. Usually what I do is I parent these two together. So select the light first and then the glass second, and then go Control P, we parent to object. So I can move this one around and we still get that light caustic effect. So you probably saw that with those bouncing squares in that demo. But what we need to do is change the color. And I've been trying to figure out a way to create a driver so I can just edit the color here and then bring it across, but I haven't figured out a way. So just for now, I like to copy the hex code. Once I've got the color that I like, come across, and then all I've got to do is come into the light and paste the hex code here. And that's going to carry the information across. The reason why hex code is just makes it copy and paste instead of like trying to adjust sliders. But as you can see, we've got that nice effect, but there's one issue inside of Eevee right now, and that's if I cover a panel, it's going to block everything out because it doesn't register any sort of translucent material behind it. So we need to set up some sort of transparency. Like you can do it that way. It kind of works, but we're going to use a Fresnel to cull the background. So just fancy words, but what we need to add is a mix shader. So we'll select that one, put it there. I usually like putting them on the bottom because I'm going to add another shader called transparency. So just make sure you pick transparent, not translucent. Translucent is what we've already set up on the principal BSDF. Drag and drop that one in. We've got this nice control here to adjust the material. So this is kind of doing what we want, but we need that Fresnel to control it. So I'm just going to drag and drop and choose this Fresnel with frac, so Fresnel. It's just a fancy way of, if it's facing the camera, do stuff. If not, do nothing. But it's a little bit strong at the moment, so we're going to create a controller using a color ramp. So I'm just going to bring in a color ramp, drop it there. Make sure you keep your nodes nice and clean so people can read it. And we're just going to change this black value. We're just going to line up these parts here and just scroll it up until we start seeing through the object. So with that light gray, it does cull a little bit, but if we move this forward and as we start rotating, we'll see the objects appear in the background. So it's just giving that illusion of the glass. So that's pretty much everything to set up this effect right now. If you want to create a duplicate or change the color like I have in the background, I'm just going to select both the panel and the light, Shift D, move it forward. Before we adjust the material here, you can click this double page here, or if you're in the material editor, you can come up, click that double page. It's just going to create a duplicate of the material. We can come in here, change the color. It's not going to affect the first one, but same thing again. We're just going to copy that hex, select the light, and then we're going to paste the hex here. And we can keep duplicating that for how many pieces of glass that we want. Another thing I want to add just before I finish up here is with these shadow caustics, you want to have it on the shadow side, because what is happening is we're just faking that shadow. So if I move the sun lamp just a little bit in the wrong area, it's going to break that illusion and it's not going to really work the way it's intended. So that's the effect, and it's not like Cycles where we can turn on a caustic system and we're going to get mathematically correct caustics, but this is a really nice way to fake that sort of effect, especially when it comes to render time, because if I just hit render, like I got less than 48 seconds. I do have a powerful graphics card, but it is set up for doing real-time rendering, so Eevee is really powerful in that regard to be able to speed up the renders. So hopefully this has given you a bit of food for thought, and try it out. Definitely try it in your animations and feel free to link me as well. And if you did think this was helpful to someone, definitely give it a thumbs up, because it does tell the algorithm point this to other people. People that are probably looking for that colored caustics in Eevee. It's a little bit unapparent, but this is a nice little effect to keep in your back pocket until then. And if you do have any comments or queries, please feel free to leave them down below. I do go down there and chat about this sort of stuff and really try and support this type of content. So if you did enjoy that one, I do have a bit of Blender content on this channel. So if you decide to go have a look, I look forward to seeing you next time.